Okay. Welcome back to the J Talks, today's relationship show. What's up, Miss D?
Hey, Jay, we got some special guests.
All right, special guests in the house.
Special guests.
Special guests in the house.
This is gonna be very interesting.
All right, these special guests are special.
Yes.
Because they are the winners of this cruise.
Woo-hoo.
For our third anniversary show that we're gonna do on a cruise ship.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
8 days.
8 days.
7 nights.
On the water.
Yeah.
On the beach.
Yes. On the beach, on the water.
Yes, sir.
Deal with folk.
Michelle, you ready?
I am ready. I am past ready.
All right, Michael, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Michael and Michelle. We got the M&Ms.
That's right.
The M&Ms on the cruise ship.
Yeah. That's right. Let's do it. I'm ready too.
All right.
I'm for real ready. Like today ready.
Right.
And we got until when? May?
May.
Yeah, okay.
We taking off May 27th.
Yes.
Now, before we get into the topic, I'm going to elaborate just a little bit on that cruise. Now, you know what? We have been posting this thing forever.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to put it out there, folks. Now, you have to participate. Okay? Just with anything else.
Right.
And you don't know if you win unless you participate.
Right.
You know, folks say, well, what was the chance of me winning anyway? Well, no chance if you don't participate.
Yeah.
If you don't put your name in the ballot.
Right,
okay.
Right.
All right.
Right. That's right.
Okay.
So don't get mad with Michael and Michelle.
All right.
All right. You don't play, you don't win.
I mean, we had some other people that had the names in, unfortunately. Unfortunately.
Yes.
All right. All right. Did y'all get mad at Ricky Rick, though? He the one put it.
So did. We gonna put it on.
I didn't tell. I didn't tell.
Yeah.
All right.
Ooh,
but folks, we have more and more things coming up.
Right.
But you have to participate. And you have to tune in. All right.
Yeah.
All right, because we're going to have some things that's going to be not even announced. Actually, this wasn't supposed to be announced.
Right.
It was supposed to be just a surprise.
Yes.
But we did have a surprise behind it, even though we revealed it. You know, from a 5-day fortnight to an 8-day.
Yes.
And then 2 people at that.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so let's get in this thing.
Okay, let's get in this thing.
We ready to roll? Are we really ready to roll?
I'm ready. This is good.
All right, you ready to roll, Michelle?
I am ready.
All right now.
Are you ready to roll, Mr. Michael?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right, here we go. Topic of the day is, all right, y'all listen up close. If we start a relationship over, start the relationship over, mean we done been there, did that, it done been stopped. If we start a relationship over, does it honestly start from fresh? Okay.
Interesting. I thought about that thing too.
You thought about that thing?
Yeah. But I'm gonna let our guests go first. I'm gonna let them.
I'm gonna
let the guests go.
You want them to go first?
Yeah.
Well, no, the guest was. Well, I got a question.
All right.
The guest has a question.
Okay.
When you say start over and you say you've been there, done it, are you saying with that individual or with another individual?
Okay.
When you say starting over.
Okay. Let me set up the parameters of this discussion. Okay. Perhaps you might have had a best friend, because let me also define relationship, because many times when you hear the word relationship, first thing that comes to people's mind is a couple, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, you know, my boo, my baby, you know. All right. So that's the first thing that comes. But relationship is any contact with a person. It could be family, it could be friends, best friend. You even have business relationships. You have your church going relationship. Relationships that when you really think about it, the ground floor, the foundation is pretty much the same in every aspect. Now there may be some details that may be different. You don't go around, French kissing all your church folk, and all that. I'll say there may be some details that may be different. I'll just say detail on your family members. I'm just saying. But the ethics, the foundation, the same,
right?
Okay, in establishing and growing and nurturing and building up on that relationship, even business. All right. So when I said as far as the topic, if you're starting a relationship over, it meaning someone you've had, you might have had a best friend. Y'all fell out. Oh, you ain't my friend no more.
Right,
we ain't friends no more. Then later you come back. Well, you know what? I missed you. Let's start our friendship over. Okay. We're gonna put everything on the back burner. Right. All right. We're gonna start it new. All right. Maybe it might have been, family members be falling out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know some. I know some twins. Closer than close. Some fell out.
Yeah. Them fell out.
Fell out.
Yeah.
And family members do that too, man.
All the time.
As a matter of fact, we see that all the time.
I think we all got them.
Hey, and don't think church folk don't fall out.
Yeah.
All right. Up there saying hallelujah and talking about sending you to hell at the same time.
Okay.
All right. Business partnerships fall out.
Yeah.
All right. So you come back and you say, and we see partnerships, they break up, fall out. And then they talk about, wanting to come back and build a new business or partnership. So what they'll do is tend to reunite that thing. Husbands, wives, girlfriend, boyfriends. So that's the parameter of this conversation. Okay. When you start with, if you decide to start it, restart it or start it over, does it really start honestly? Yeah, fresh. You know how they say it. Right. We're gonna wipe the slate clean.
Right.
All right.
Okay. I'm glad you cleared that up.
Yeah.
Because I was going down a one-way path here, one-way street.
Sound like back down memory lane.
Yeah. I specifically had a particular type of relationship in mind when I was asked the question. But I will start that off then. I can honestly say for myself, we're all jaded, after having been in a relationship where, regardless to who it was with, you've given of yourself, meaning you gave your heart. And oftentimes things don't quite turn out the way one would expect them to, and because maybe there was some misunderstanding in the beginning. But once you've been hurt, it's kind of hard to forget the things that got you hurt. And sometimes, it's not a good thing to hold on to those kinds of things, especially if you intend to want to start over again. We may, but then we're holding on to baggage. We got things that we don't let go. And when something rears its ugly head that resembles the hurt that came along with the action that took place, we tend to back off and not fully give of ourselves to that particular individual and that situation.
Interesting.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Got a good point there.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right. What about you, Michelle? You got anything?
I would say from a friend experience, one of me and my best friends, we had some disagreements, and I won't say that we just started the relationship over. But what I would say is we both just apologized and went forward. And it's like it never ever happened because we have been friends for so long, and I did not want the friendship to end, just because she thought that I didn't do something, and I didn't want, she said that she didn't want our friendship to end because of things that she thought I should have handled a different way or whatever. It was just kind of a misunderstanding. And sometimes that can happen in a friendship. But we just both apologized and, and just said, hey, and I have seen her since then. Matter of fact, I seen her during the Christmas break. And it was just like we had never, ever stopped speaking to each other. So I can say, I guess it depends on the two, people of how they want to handle it and be positive about the relationship of going forward. Some people cannot apologize and go forward. Some people still try to hold on to it even though they say they're going to, move forward. So I would say that it is in general about the two people, what they really are about.
Yeah.
And Michelle, I agree, and in fact, I agree with you and Michael, both on that aspect, because I was gonna say, yes and no, and for the reasons that you said, but I'm gonna put it in a different term. It depends on the people, and it depends on the circumstances of the relationship. Now, if it's a relationship, and I was thinking along the line of husband and wife, man or woman, or something like that. If you end on a bad note, and the relationship dissolves and you break apart, when you get back together, then I would say no, because you have not resolved the issues that broke you up in the first place. So you're not starting afresh with that relationship, But if you two got together and said, okay, well, we agree that, we can't be together for whatever reason, and it's mutual, and you both respect each other in that decision, and then you go apart and y'all meet each other again and y'all get back together, then yes. So it depends on the circumstance and the situation, and it depends on the two people.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There has to be some considerations, what as to what people are bringing to the table, as to whether there's any value in even considering getting back together.
Yes, that's right.
Making up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And Michael, I think you made a good comment about if there were hurt feelings, if you left and your feelings was just hurt, and you felt that at that particular time or moment that you couldn't forgive what happened, depending on the seriousness of it, then it's going to take a process in order for you to go through that. And you made also another good point, and it's important that you do that, the person that was hurt, that you go through that process, because you don't want to bring this into the next relationship, because that person is not deserving of the hurt that you received from your prior relationship.
That's right.
So yeah, you have to, I think you have to know who you are and work on, where you are at that moment if the relationship dissolves. Now with family, I too had a situation, Michelle. My best friend, we've been friends for over 30 something years now, but at one point we stopped talking for like about 3 years. I'm talking about my best friend, like my sister, that my mother didn't have, and all because of another girlfriend that didn't want to see me and her, that didn't like our relationship. So she was able to come in between, or we allowed it for her to come in between that, and for 3 years we did not speak. I'm talking about my best friend. Can you imagine the void? So I can understand the void I had because she was not there, and I was like, wow. And then when we finally got together, we realized that it was because of somebody else, and it wasn't either her or me. And I was like, wow, how did we let this happen? So in saying that, and from that point up until this day, we are still the best of friends, even though I'm living here and she's still in Detroit. So it does depend on the people, the two people, I would say. Yeah.
All right. Well, y'all know me. I tend to always I go reach all the way out in outer space somewhere to pull in
Jay.
to pull in this thought. Pull in some thoughts sometimes. Great conversation. I'm just sitting here just enjoying it. I was just actually gonna be quiet at first till y'all started looking at me kind of funny. Like say something. All right.
Well, it is Jay Talks.
All right. Oh, Jay Talks.
Jay Talks.
Jay Talks.
Jay Talks.
Okay.
Because people do want to hear from Jay.
Right.
Jay Talks. Okay. All right. Well, Jay getting ready to talk.
Okay.
All right. Before I start talking, I want to plug into the viewers out there. We'd love to hear some of your comments.
Yes.
Our call-in number is 931-220-7063. Just call on in. We'll patch you right on in. All right. So, in regards to a lot of the good conversation and the views that all three of you all have been bringing to the table, I just want to plug in this other thing. That many times when people are restarting, bringing it back into focus, the thing that's been said, we're going to put all that behind us, and sometimes act like it not even, you might hear that act like it ain't even happened, and wiping the slate clean, I personally have seen, I've heard that many times, all those type of cliche phrases when restarting or recommunicating or reuniting a relationship, no matter what form or source of a relationship. I hear that so many times. I'm not saying it's all the time, but I've heard it a bunch of times. And the question that tends to rest on my mind is, are you really honest about really putting that to the back burner? Really sincere about, because there's some things that sometimes evidence, all right, that can reveal if a person's really sincere.
Absolutely.
Watch this.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Something comes up. Let's say you have a husband and wife. Okay. Let's say that even if somebody, I'm going to go to extremes on this one, they cheated, they split. It don't have to be husband and wife. It could be, dating, couples, whatever. They cheated, they broke. Somebody cheated, they broke up. Okay. Then they decide to get back together. Their claim is they're going to start it all over, rebond, and okay. Let's say something looks similar, whether it's the man or the woman, sitting there talking to somebody. Let's say it was a man that cheated, and then they're talking to another woman, and then the woman's looking at them, and they observing, and know what it might look like. Okay, the first thing you planning on cheating with her? Did you really put that behind you?
Right.
I'm just saying.
That's true.
Did you really put, or are you? And there's a difference in showing a concern and something that's actually really hasn't rested. Okay, it really hasn't rested.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use another one. Okay. You got best friends. Okay. And they hung out best and everything, right? One person has betrayed the other by telling some secrets that shouldn't have been told. That was supposed to be, you my boy, you my girl. So they have a fallout and they defriend each other. Okay? They later come back. Now, you might see something that it may not be a secret that you all still holding, But you see them now revealing secrets that shouldn't be told from somebody else. So now it might cross in your mind, you know what? I see that they still doing the same thing to different. What if they do? They got this habit. What if they going to do that to me? What if they going to come back and do the same thing again to me? All right. Did you really put it behind you?
Well, I would say that in any scenario, because you laid the foreground for the discussion, whether it was husband and wife or best friends or brothers and sisters, if a trust has been violated, regardless of who the relationship with, no matter what kind of relationship it was with, if a trust was violated, it's kind of difficult to give that individual your all. I'm not saying that there's no room for forgiveness.
Right.
I'm saying it's hard to forget. And what's the old saying? If you don't remember the past, you're doomed to repeat it again, or something like that. So these are the ways we learn. The things we taste, touch, smell, hear, see, and experience. So our experience is brought to us by those things that we've gone through with individuals. So we learn, I'm not touching the eye on that stove when it's red like that because it hurt.
Yeah. Yes.
So the same thing with our feelings.
Yes.
If we got burnt before, it's kind of difficult to not want to get, shall I say, not wanting to lend yourself to get hurt again. So we're kind of jaded, and we take our time, and we're a little skeptical about giving our heart again. I remember reading something in the 8th grade, and I remember this passage by this little girl. It read, "I'm afraid to let you know who I am, because if I do, you might not like it, and it's all that I have." So when a person comes and gives their all, it's kind of difficult once the trust has been broken to give it again.
That's a good point. Mike, very, very good. But it's been my experience that that even in that, and Michael, you touched on it. I will, forgive you and all of that. You can be earnestly sorry for the betrayal or whatever that thing is, and I'll accept that as that, because if you're a woman or a man enough to come to me and apologize and is sincere, and I perceive it to be sincere, then I'm woman enough to say, you know what, I forgive you. But like you said, I can't, you're gonna have to earn that back. It can be earned back. It can be, but it's gonna take a long time. It's gonna be a process. You're gonna have to prove yourself, so to speak. Can I say that? And so in saying that, so now you gotta look at it, is this person worth the time that you're gonna put in to allow them to show you that they're somebody different or not?
Right.
Okay, so
Maya Angelou said, if a person shows you who they are,
believe them.
Yes. Believe it. But then again, I don't believe, I do believe that people can change. But again, it's kind of hard. Once bitten, twice shy.
Yes. So when you're talking about relationships starting, afresh, I think it depends on what happened in the relationship, what took place. Are you able? Because now, let me just be truthful. In some relationships, you just have to say, you know what, I accept you, for whoever you are, and let it be that. Whether it's your ex-man, your husband, your brother, sister, cousin, whoever, because they are who they are, and they're gonna be who they gonna be. So you just gotta say, okay, so I choose not to. Okay, Mike. What you? I choose not to allow you in there because you're not good for me. Now I love you.
At a distance.
That's right. Yeah. You get that?
Yeah.
Okay.
At a distance.
How long your distance? A foot or 10 miles?
You know, and that's just being truthful. Like, that's real talk. That's real
hard.
talk. Yeah.
Not to say that it's impossible, but it's hard. It's difficult.
Yes.
It's difficult.
That's right.
Okay. Now, well, all right. Since y'all saying this, and I hear another thing that keeps coming up: forgive and forget. All right. Now I have a series of questions.
Okay.
That I'm gonna throw out here. Y'all think about this. All right. Number one, how does that work? Forgive and forget. How does that work? Number two, if you're medically declared not mentally deficient, in other words, ain't nothing wrong with your mind, you know, okay, then, which is called sane, which means you have the power of memory. Do you actually, because remember my first question, how to forgive and forget?
Yeah. How
does that work? Forget, especially the forget part, all right? And do you really forget? Okay, do you really forget? And the third question is the forgive and forget just an authentic, reliable statement, or is it a cliche?
Okay, understood.
I don't
Michael, that rare back. Come on, Michael.
You got it,
Come on.
I don't recall anybody saying forgive and forget.
Right?
We're saying you can forgive, but we ain't forgetting because that's how we learn.
Yes.
That's you learn from your memory, from the things you've been through, your experience. So you can't forget.
Yeah.
But now, like Debbie said, you know, you kind of with a long handle spoon.
Right.
That's all I can say. A long handle spoon. Now, if that person is worth you reinvesting yourself with them, then yeah, by all means, you know, throw your eggs back in that basket again if you dare. But you know,
Michael,
you don't forget if you dare. You know, that's if you see something that can change. If it's worth your reinvesting in that individual. But that's how a lot of people stay married, because some things ain't worth holding on to. You know, now ain't like me, because I'm getting rid of you. But so
he gonna be a problem. I already know.
You heard that, Michelle?
I hear that.
with a chicken.
Yeah. So no, you don't forget, Jay. No, you don't.
What you gotta say, Michelle?
Okay.
I think that a person can really forgive somebody when they really have the love of Christ inside of them. Because you look at how many times God has forgiven us. I know we are human, and sometimes we all fall short, and sometimes we cannot forget it. But I think that we generally can forgive a person if we have the love of God in our heart.
That's true.
Because we look at it that, okay, look at how many times Christ has forgiven me for certain things.
Yes, absolutely.
So you don't try to compare that person and look at that person's bad thoughts. You try to outweigh all of the good and all of the positive things that person has imparted into your life. Because whenever my marriage broke up, and it did not break up very good. My husband done some evil things to me or whatever, and it took me getting past that and having to really forgive him to get past to even be able to be in his presence. Still, I cannot say that he likes being in my presence or whatever. I don't know if it's a good thing that because he done so much bad things towards me, that is the reason why he feels uncomfortable. I cannot answer that. But I went to him personally and I said, how can I love God and not love you?
Yeah.
Or how can I be praying for God to do certain things in my life if I cannot do past this. So I think the person has to really, truly love God and wanting to live for God in order to be able to really forgive somebody, because a lot of times we say that we forgive it and we still talk about it. That's not forgiveness. That's just saying, okay, I'm going to try to put it past me, and then every opportunity it comes up, you still try to talk about it. That's not forgiving someone.
That's right.
That is just putting it on the back burner till that topic comes up again and you want to talk about it. But I think that loving Christ is the best way of forgiving somebody and being able to move forward.
Absolutely, Michelle. I agree. Absolutely, I agree. And because of that, and because of everything you just said, there's no excuse for us. Let me just say it. You know, when I finally figured that one out, that I was like, ouch. You know, there's no excuse. You know, we don't have an excuse not to forgive. You know, and I'm gonna even go a little bit further than this, Michelle. Whether the person that's asking for your forgiveness is sincere or not, we don't have an excuse. We don't.
Well,
We don't.
And when I corroborate about this, there is a family member that is going through with my dad and is not speaking to my dad because of some things that were said when they both were angry. Okay, and then a couple weeks ago, two of my nieces had a disagreement. And so I was talking to my sister, and she was talking about how she was praying that God would bring them back together. And I said, do you not think that God has a sense of humor? And she said, what do you mean? And I said, you're asking God to do something that you're not even willing to do. How are you going to ask God for something that you're not even willing to forgive and forget about? You're not even willing to try to talk to my dad. So how are you going to ask God to fix another relationship when you don't even want the relationship with your own dad fixed? And she said, well, I'm not willing to forget because he really meant it. I said, both of y'all have said things that y'all maybe should not have said. And I said, and you got to realize if you're at somebody's house and you are bringing someone to that person's house, that person has a right to ask you to leave, whether you like it or not. They have a right to ask you to leave their house. I said, so you got to look at that he was not putting you out. He's asking you to leave his house because him and the mom is not wanting to hear that. But I looked at it that some people look at different things different ways, and they try to sugarcoat different things in their life to say, well, this person hurt me really bad, or this person done this, really bad, and I'm not willing to forgive them. But we have to look at it just so that what did we play in that part that we done also, and are we really willing to forgive this person? And it's just not a little bit. Are we really willing to forgive them and move forward?
Okay.
All right. So correct on the forgiveness. I'm gonna paint a picture here. All right. Now, I did some studying, and if somebody does an act to you, according to the Bible, and you're supposed to forgive them 70 times 7. In other words, it's so many times. It's like what's the use? All right, what's the use of you counting by then? Just all right. Now, however, I'm not going to forget what you did. I'm going to give this example, this picture here. I have a friend or somebody who I count as a friend, that I allow to come in my house quite often. This friend winds up stealing a $500 ring or watch from me. Okay? For whatever purpose, he decide he's stealing it from me. All right. Now, I can forgive him, and in forgiving is, okay, if I see him on the street, he got a flat tire or something. If I just I'm driving up, I see him, and then and I say, you know what? He stole my $500 watch. Just shoot on past him. All right. Okay. Now, now if I don't stop and help him when I know I can, then I haven't forgiven him.
Right.
However, that doesn't mean I have to give him retribution, because in retribution. He doesn't have to be allowed to come back into my house.
That's true. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. All right. He's not because also, whatsoever you sow, so you reap. All right. There are consequences in some of the things that we do.
Absolutely.
Now, in forgiving a person, you don't take the act of what has transgressed against you to stop you from doing a Christian act toward the other person. And I say a Christian act. There's a difference between a Christian act and a just act, because God is a just God, and in his just, which is the first 4 letters in the word justice, and in judicial, okay. So when God turned away from life, it said he turned them over to he let them go. He let them go. I mean, he destroyed the earth by water, by flood, because the world was wicked. He forgave them, but he took them out too at the same time. I'm just saying. And then it says in the book of life, because he don't forget, everything that we do is written in the book of life. Everything.
Wow.
But he is a forgiving God. He is a forgiving God. Y'all. That really shook up some people.
I know, right? Me, because I'm
folk would be like, I don't want to see what I did. I don't want to be reminded about what I did.
Let it just be me and you. I don't want nobody else around when you go through my life.
That's why he's your greatest friend, because he ain't gonna tell nobody. Your secrets are kept with him. And I know this might be getting a little off the subject, but since I said the secret, since I did use that analogy in another parameter, I don't know why folk don't get it about so-called secrets, right? All right, especially I'm just saying folk that call themselves religious, or religious minded, or God-fearing believers. Okay, now we can read it. I'm sure we've heard it, and they've written songs about it when it says, "Go tell all your secrets to God. Go in the closet and shut the door, and tell him." Take all your cares and secrets to him, right? That's what Scripture says for us to do. Okay. Why is that? Because God is not going to tell nobody your secret. And if he did, how he going to tell them? And what he going to send a burning bush and going to talk to folk? I mean, how is he going to? All right, I'm just saying. God is not going to tell your secrets, right? He's not going to tell your secrets. All right. Now, why is it that we defy an order that, talking about the church going folk, defy an order of advice and instruction? It's a reason for that, It don't say nowhere about go tell your best friend, go tell your family member, don't you know,
and
tell your partner in crime, and, you know. All right.
Yeah.
And then when your secret get out, you get mad. And you want to fall out. You want to fall out.
Michael got his hand up.
All right.
Michael got his hand.
That looked like one of them church fingers raising up, you know.
You know, I didn't know we were going to get off on a religious tip here, but because, you know, it rained on the just as well as the unjust, and a whole lot of atheists are married and have stayed together a long time, and they're prosperous as well. So, just to not tilt it toward being a religious talk here, I'm going to say that, you know, there is a part in the scripture that said, bear ye one another's burdens and get to know one another. Now, ain't but so much I need to tell you, but we, and from what I understand, I hear all the time, we overcome by the word of our testimony. Well, ain't none of us sinless. You know, we all got some crap with us. I'm the chief of crappers. So I'm just saying, if I know how full of crap I am, you ain't that much further behind me.
Right.
So I know your ills as well as my own. So that's how I'm able to say to you in your face, you's a lying naked. You know, I know better. I know human nature.
Yeah, that's right.
I grew up with 6 siblings, a mother and a father and a grandmother under the same roof. Yeah. And I was real shy. So I watched and observed a whole lot of human behavior.
Right.
So when I see the way people shuck and jive, I know how to see, I know deception when I see it. So with the forgiving thing, yeah, we're supposed to forgive, but I think, but so many times I'm jumping into the deep end of the pool with you, knowing that you're trying to take me under. I'm not going to forget that you almost drowned me.
That's that discernment.
So that's discernment. So I'm saying
you ain't going to slap me but about 4 times.
So I say all that to say, even God had a time when he said, okay, enough is enough. And Moses had to remind him, hey, remember Lord,
Show did.
So let's the 7 times 7. But that's got limitations. That's got. I don't care what religious folk try to tell you about. Oh no, that's supposed to be an ongoing thing. No, I dare not say.
Yes.
Because, like I said before, once bitten, twice shy. You ain't gonna keep on forgiving me for the same mess I keep doing to you.
Michael, you tell the truth. That's real
God bless you. No. I'm gonna say God bless you from way over here.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, you're right.
Keep on doing what you're doing until your mind and your conscience sears you.
Yeah.
Because until you turn, because what they say, you turn over to a reprobate mind. If you continue down the same path. Now I think we get turned around when we repent. I think that's what repent means. Turn around, turn away from. But if you ain't turned away from it, I ain't got to keep inflicting myself with that kind of pain. I ain't stupid.
Right. That's right. Yes.
Well, and also in the scripture, didn't he say something about if they ain't believing you, whatever, shake the dust off your feet?
That's what
get the step.
Right, get the step. Now I'm with you,
That's
Mike.
Right, you're right.
Because I'm totally with you on that one, Mike. Because I tell you, it's like on the forgiveness. Okay, they come, they shoot you in your foot. Okay, you forgave them. But you still going around them. Listen, I said. Remember I said retribution. And sometimes we feel we get this idea that you ain't forgiving me if you're not allowing me to come back around you. Okay? Sometimes discernment might say you bad company, and I need to separate myself from you. Now
that's right.
Watch this. You done shot me in my foot. Now I'm gonna keep. I see your character and attitude is still the same. I'm going. Now you done shot me in my hand. Yeah. I'm still hanging around you.
You still got a pistol.
And I forgive you. I love you. But my discernment ain't kicked in yet. Yeah. Now you done shot my ear off. Yeah. All right. And I'm gonna keep letting you fill me up with holes till I ain't got no more places for you to shoot me at.
You ain't got no more life.
Right.
Until you don't have any more life.
No more life. Then when you meet the Lord, well, Lord, I kept forgiving them. Yeah, but you didn't have to let them take you out. The sermon should have stepped right on in to say that this is bad company and just separate yourself. All right, because there is a thing, it says, now you are in the world, but you separate yourself from the
mess.
The mess.
Thank you, Mike.
Because then Lot's wife turned
like
around
you said,
and went to a pillar of salt. He said, lead them folk. And don't look back.
And don't look back.
Like
That's
the Temptations.
right.
Now, and in some relationships, there are some relationships, and that's where discernment should really come in. Though you might forgive, and and you should forgive, but there are some ethics in forgiving. There's a path. There are some steps.
Yeah.
And it is in biblical form. It is in biblical form. I'm trying not to go so deep in there.
Go deep in there, brother. We got boots.
You know what? Yes.
Get up in there. What we talking for?
All right.
We talking to grown folks?
Oh,
Right.
yeah. All right.
Yeah. Okay, Michael.
Okay.
Go, Jack.
All right. That's right. I just mentioned a couple of them. Mike had just mentioned some too. But as I was saying, why would we have to use discernment about anything as to what's good or what's bad for us? Why would that even exist if we don't apply it to a certain rule? All right.
Okay.
All right. And even God, I'm going to say even God, in His forgiveness. I mean, He's there for us. He'll do, but He'll also let us go. I mean, Matthew even said it's going to be in come judgment. A bunch of folks say, hey, I did this in your name. I did this. I'm a religious shouter. I attended church all the time.
Yeah.
He's going to say, depart from me.
I never knew you.
Right. You're not good for my kingdom.
Yeah.
You're not good to be around me. All right. I love you.
Yeah.
I love you, but you're not good for me. And sometimes in some relationships, okay, though you might forgive them.
Yes. Yes.
In using many of those examples, many of those things that's been shared, that I would say, if there hasn't been a question before the reuniting, how are you reuniting? In the same way that you were? Now, is the person's character. All right? Because if they were messy when you broke it.
Yeah.
And just because you trying to reunite, if they're still in the same messy character.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
All right. What is the outlook of the moving forward with that reuniting of that relationship?
Look kind of dim to me.
Yeah, look
now, you got it. Depending on what that person brings back to the table. If there is even a conversation, that would even initiate some consideration to get back together. The person that was messy, don't they have to show some act of interest?
Absolutely.
Because you already know what you ain't putting up with.
Right. Absolutely.
So don't they have to come with a different mindset and actions to follow?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has to be. Did it say let two or more agree? All right.
Yeah.
In union, there's not just only that scripture. I'm trying to remember where that is in Psalms, where it talks about those that are in fellowship, that they be in union. That they be in union, because if you're not in union, you're not in fellowship.
Okay. And and
you got something to say, Michelle?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was agreeing with that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, and now we're talking about this. I was in my early 40s before I forgave my father for not being there for me. Early 40s. I lived all of those years with unforgiveness, and I'm gonna tell you, and it had gotten so bad a lot of times I had blocked it out and didn't even know that I still hadn't forgave him. But it wasn't until my mom passed and he came back into me and my brother's life, and we tried to, get that relationship. But let me tell you, now we talk about the process that you have to go through if there is to be a union. Oh, it was some kicking, screaming, fighting, punching. It was a lot of that. Fist slamming on the table. Where were you? Why wasn't you there? And that kind of thing. It was a lot of that for a long time. But he proved himself to say, hey, I know I wasn't there. I made a mistake. I should have been there. And I'm your father, and I love you. And I want us to start from where we are now to try to have that father and daughter relationship. Yes, I missed out on all of those years, but I want to start now. And he was sincere in that. And when I saw, it was like several years after that first initial meeting, but it was several years after that until where we were able to get that bond as daughter and father. And then after that, he died. And so I'm thankful for that time that we had to mend that thing, and that meant a lot to me, and it helped me up until this present time, in my life. But those years prior, before 43, it was you didn't have anything coming as far as I was concerned, and to live with that kind of unforgiveness, hatred, detest, for the man that helped give you life. That's a bad thing. And I lived that. I lived all of those years with that kind of, that kind of stuff inside of me, and it just wasn't a good time. But it wasn't until I just truthfully, earnestly, and honestly said, Dad, I forgive you. But I had to get to the point to where I could say that it wasn't just no overnight thing. It had to be a process, because I had to get through all of that, all years and years of him not being there, and him not being there, but we were able to do that, and so I'm glad about that. So,
all right, that's awesome. Yeah, because when time passes, when somebody passes, there's no looking forward to trying to mend anything. Like you hear folks say, give me my roses or my flowers while I'm still alive. Yes. Well, you got to also make it a flower of forgiveness as well.
Absolutely.
Because, I never realized how affected one's conscience could be when an individual you wanted to say something to has passed on. Yes. You won't realize it until they're gone that you'll never have that time again.
Yes. That's right. That is so right.
We can forgive and no, we don't forget. But we'll never start over. When you say start over fresh, you can. It's not impossible.
Right.
But you're a lot more attentive to some of the things that were a detriment to the relationship and your emotions and your psyche from that point on with that individual.
Right.
Not everyone.
Michael, I'm reminded of the movie, and I love this movie. It's an old movie, Imitation of Life.
You ain't that old.
I remember the movie. Okay, Michael. Imitation of Life, and you remember the storyline where the young girl was treating her mother like she was the maid all of those years because she was real light, bright, and really could pass. And then her mom died, and she had treated her like crap all of those years, and she didn't get the opportunity to say, you're my mother, and I love you, and I'm proud of you. Her mom had that, and that was the saddest, one of the saddest things I had ever saw. And I was like, you know what? I don't ever want that to be in my life with anybody that I'm with, or when I say with family members, friends, whatever, I don't ever want that to be me, because if I can get to the point to where, because I've never, let me just say this, I've never been the type of person. You got some people that can hold a grudge from that day you did something to them to the day they die or the day you die. And I've never was that type of person. So you can do something to me today, and I could be mad with you for, for a little while, and then, next time I'll be like, okay, but I'm going to still be watching you, but you got people that really hold grudge. I ain't spoke to my cousin in 20 years. I ain't spoke to my sister in 5 years. Really? I can't forgive them what they did. Really? What kind of miserable person you got to be? When you think about that, I mean, you really don't know who God is at all, do you? I wonder. I'll never forgive them. When you hear people say, I will never be able to forgive them for what they did. Wow.
Like
really?
I said, that's some of the evidence of whether a person actually forgives. I mean, it shows. People can say it, but it's the fruit, it's the actions. It's the things that they do, they say, that the way they act, everything. Helen Keller was deaf in all areas, and she can show you whether or not she hated you, show you whether or not she loved you, and show you whether or not she actually forgave you. So like I say, those are lessons from a deaf person, and we can learn much from that. Huh?
We had a class in Sunday school, and the question was posed: can you do you have to like somebody in order to love them? And as I listened to the conversation going around the table, a lot of folk were, you gotta like them. I'm like, no, right. Time out.
Right.
I want to call nowhere in the scripture where it said you gotta like somebody.
Yes, that's right.
Love, and with like heaping coals of fire upon somebody's head. You ain't got to like somebody in order to show love. Now, again, I'm not getting off on no religious tip here, because atheists love too. They know who their loyalties lie with and who they ain't aligned with. So again, it's not just a God kind of thing, right. Because don't get me wrong, I'm not an atheist, but I'm saying people live and love whom they choose, and whether they choose to serve a deity or not is all on them, because again, scripture also reminds us, as I said earlier, it rains on the just as well as the unjust. So if I don't even believe in God, it's going to rain on me too, and my stuff, whatever I plan, is going to prosper also. So we do, it's a value to be able to forgive.
It is.
Because until you've experienced it, you won't know what it's like. And then, some of us choose to wallow in the mully grubs. I'm one of them. I look in the mirror every day and I'm like, man, I should call that dude up. But I'll be thinking, he ain't called me either. And I brought it to his attention, and he ain't said nothing to me. So it ain't like you don't know.
Michael.
I'm being real with it. You talking about getting deep, I'm going to get deep with it. I got my boots
on.
He
got his boots. And his water pants on.
Just because I'm talking here don't mean I ain't living through some stuff. I'm living through some stuff too.
All right.
As we speak.
All right. Ms. Michelle.
And you can judge me if you choose.
You got any last comments?
No, I don't have any last comments.
All right. Ms. Tiff, you have any last comments?
I'll say this. And we say it depends on the people, but since we're all sitting here and we're talking about ourselves on a personal note, I think it depends on. I'm gonna say I know it depends on me. It depends on me. It's up to me whether I choose to or not.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, let me throw mine in here. I just want to first say appreciate everybody that's been on this cast, this whole conversation. Yes. It's been very interesting. It's been very fulfilling. Prayerfully, hopefully for the listeners that either tuned in live or in the future archive the show, that it will have some direction and be informative to them. Also, I want to thank and appreciate Mr. Mike.
Yes.
All right.
Michael.
Mr. Michael. I'm sorry, Mr. Michael. All right. He came in. He came in with his boots, his water overalls, everything. I mean, he even had an umbrella. He was ready for the rain. All right, Miss Michelle Miller.
Michelle.
All right, all the way from NC, North Carolina.
Yes, Michelle.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna have the M&Ms on the shoe.
Right.
All right. All right. And Miss Debbie, like always,
Yes.
my partner. All right.
Yes.
So, closing this thing up, as the question was asked, if we start a relationship over, do we honestly really start it afresh? Do we really do that? And as we went through a lot of the conversation, we came to find out, or brought up, I won't say came to find out, but it brought up that you don't forget. You can forgive. You can start things over, but many times, we hear that phrase in conversations come up. I'm just going to forgive and forget. Well, it seems like we don't forget, and sometimes you can say something enough times that it will there's an author who wrote this from Germany. Even Hitler even said it. That if you tell a lie strong enough, loud enough, and repetitive enough, it'll eventually become the truth. And many times when we hear the word forget, we know what the actual definition for that is. And it can be anywhere from a temporary wiping away of your mind to a permanent wiping away of your mind from your mind.
I call that the tidy bowl man theory. You're in the funk so long you don't smell nothing wrong.
Right. So we know the definition. We, both of them, elementary and all that, done learn the word and learn the definition. But we'll say we have said it in enough times in a way to actually mean and I'm going to say it in a deception. I got my boots on too. That it has placed a deception in us to accept the word forget as it being wiped, and it's not wiped.
Right.
And then we're not only in ourselves, but even when someone says it to us, we tend to accept that that's what they're actually doing is wiping it out. Okay, and so, I had asked that question, could it be possibly a con slander or a con cliche? Because, what about just forgiving? I ain't forgot, but, I forgive you. Let's be honestly real. I ain't forgot, but I forgive you. All right? Oh, I remember. I'm not crazy, but I forgive you. Okay? Because sometimes the perception when we say it to someone else is that they really think you really done forgot, and if they sometimes thinking you forgot, and if there's a big if their character or the person that was the problem, it might have been you that's the problem. Who knows? But if there's something in their character that transgressed against they're thinking you forgot, it may be possible that they could be deceived to thinking that you won't remember that they could if they ever do it again.
Right.
I'm just saying. Yeah. There are some people who are actually misled in their conscience because it comes in their unconscious, and so be it. But in this topic, we hope that it leads people that we can restore some relationships, build better relationships, because that's what this show is all about. Right. Building better relationships, and prayerfully, that's what the viewers and everybody who tends to this show might become. Okay. All right.
All right, Jay.
All right.
Miss Michelle.
Okay.
All right.
Mr. Michael.
Mr. Michael.
Boots on the ground. All right. All right. We're out of here.
Bye. Bye.